Hey everybody, we're live for another stream. Did promise that I would try to get at least one more stream in this weekend. Decided to do a little bit of Legacy. I finished up the Burn League that I started during Boros Burn Boot Camp. That'll be coming out in the next day or two as kind of the daily upload. But I figured today we'd get into some Legacy. Most of my experience with the format of late has been with the Blue-Black Reanimator deck, which, while it's fine, doesn't really address the elephant in the room of learning the best deck in the format, so I figured we'd work a little bit on learning some Izzet Delver, kind of go from there. And that said, that's kind of what we're aiming for tonight. Do at least most of a league of Izzet Delver, if at all possible. Not sure we'll get all the way through the league, depending on how my voice and health hold up, so hopefully we can get through. But beyond that, this is a deck that's probably taken over the format maybe a little too much. Almost exclusively made up of Modern Horizon 2 threats, Ragavan, Dragon Range's Channeler, Murktide Regent, along with a couple copies of the old mainstay Delver of Secrets. Then you get to play the typical mainstays of Brainstorm, Ponder, Daze, Force of Will, and Wasteland as part of your kind of tempo mana denial strategy. This deck used to run obviously things like Stifle and such, no longer really a consideration, but you do get to run another powerful card in Expressive Iteration as an additional way to get some card advantage / card selection. A couple copies of Mishra's Bauble, pairs nicely with Dragon Rage's Channeler, a little bit with Murktide, allowing you to fill up the graveyard quickly, get a quick Murktide into play. And then beyond that, you're just kind of doing the tempo thing. One island, one mountain, 4 fetchable volcanics, bunch of fetches, and then obviously the wastelands. Sideboard, a couple copies of that sideboard doesn't look quite correct. A couple copies of a Braid for any type of Chalice nonsense. Brazen Borrower when you need another threat along with a little bit of answers. A couple copies of Court of Cunning. This card's very good against the grindy or control matchups. If you just slam this, you get to become the Monarch and then begin to mill your opponent if they can't deal you combat damage. Copy of Submerge for any type of, obviously, force shenanigans, primarily against Termaglyphs, and to a certain extent comes in against the various dark depths things which otherwise you could have a problem. Hydroblast for any type of red decks, so anything that's going to be bringing Pyroblast against you, or possibly against the Mono Red Prison deck. A couple copies of Surgical Extraction for any type of graveyard shenanigans, whether it be Dredge, Reanimator, etc. Second copy of Gut Shot for any type of Delver Mirrors. Blazing Volley for any style of elf decks usually. 4 copies of Pyroblast, obviously, for blue mirrors. So, I am far from a Delver expert, so do keep that in mind as you watch this video. That said, let's see what we can get into, shall we? Nice, War Dog, nice. How you doing tonight? We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm far from a Legacy expert here, so hopefully the queue times won't be terribly long. I know Legacy has certainly dipped in popularity of late because of the issues with this deck. I think a lot of people say this deck is too overpowered at this point. This and the Saga variant of it. Mexican pizza dinner from scratch. Yeah, that was an unfortunate loss, wasn't it? On the play, which is generally where the Delver deck wants to be. No colored sources and no threat, so I'm afraid this is a mulligan. This hand has no mana whatsoever, so it's also a mulligan. This hand isn't fantastic, but I do think we keep it. Okay. I honestly don't know. Let me see if I see any issues with it. Doesn't seem to be any issues on my end, but then again, I don't know for sure. Wonder if it's just restreaming it or having issues or what's going on.